Hi, and thanks so much for joining me. Today we are talking about this brand new blush highlighter duo by Chanel. If you'd like to see that, please keep watching. This just arrived in the mail, so we're gonna open it together. We have the blush and highlighter duo. Here's a swatch. It actually looks a little bit sheer as a swatch, but we'll see how it looks on. I'm also going to go ahead and swatch this against all of the Chanel blushes I have, so make sure to stay tuned to the end. Let's go ahead and put a look together. Okay, so that eye was a bit tricky because I don't know what happened with the palettes on this collection, but there was one that was available and I ordered it. I ordered it with the blush. Then I received the notification that the blush was on the way, but that the palette was canceled. And then the last time I looked at the site, there were no palettes. So I don't know what's happening, but I looked at the pictures that I could find of the palettes and just tried to estimate colors that I had that kind of looked like that. So I went in with the Dior Mitza. So that's what went by if you were wondering what it was. And I used these two and that color right there. I also went in with one of the new Charlotte Tilbury palettes, Eyes of a Star, this coppery color right there on the lids. And then I went in with Fire Rose, another Charlotte Tilbury palette. I used, which shade? This one, this pinky shade, right there on the inner corner. And that's what I brightened it up with. And then I still wanted a little bit more warmth right here, because the other palette looked kind of like peachy orangey. So I went in with the Desert Haze and I took that color right there and just blended it in really gently into the crease area. That's the best I could do with what I had. And then I thought we could just actually neutralize a little bit the waterline with Sylvie by Chantecaille. I'm just gonna add that to the waterline. Clean hands, of course. Okay, now we finally get to go in with the blush. I'm going to take a Rain Morris Deluxe Kabuki brush. This usually does a good job of picking up blush because it feels like this is a little bit more densely packed. Not quite sure the formula on this, but I'll have to take a look. This is picking it up, but it does take a little bit of work. It's reminding me of another blush that I have. Of course, I love this because it doesn't have shimmer, and also it has that peachy tone that I love for color correcting a little bit right here in the front. Yeah, it's not emphasizing texture. I love when a blush doesn't show texture, and this is one of them. Really beautiful flush of color. Very second skin-like also. You can't see it sitting on the skin. Yeah, I think I'll swatch the blush that I am thinking of next to this because boy, they seem very similar. I don't want to jump to conclusions quickly, but this one is really pretty. I'm going in with the highlighter now with the Wayne Goss fan brush. beautiful glow as well on this. It has that quality as if it was applied as a liquid highlighter. Nothing powdery about this. Really beautiful. I love this blush. I'm gonna say it right now, I love it. Before we even get to the end of this video, it is beautiful. Okay, let's come up with a lip though, because I struggled a little with the lip. I saw the one that they paired with it was really like orangey color, but I thought we could do something that suggested that. I think I might have to do this one again. I've done it before. I actually just did this in another video that will be coming up. I think we're gonna have to go in with number 21 and see how that works. Hermes. I really think this pairs beautifully with this just because it's got that warmth to it, and that's a little bit difficult for me to find. So I could do this, or I could make it a little bit more like that orangey tone. I have the Suku, and I'll add a little bit of it. It's the one in 05, a glossy lip. I'm just gonna add a little bit on top to warm it up slightly. As I promised, I want to swatch all of my existing blushes from Chanel against this one, as well as the other blush this reminds me of from a different line. Here are the swatches of all of my blushes that I have from Chanel against the new blush right here. Starting with 80 Jersey, that's this shade right here. Next is shade 99, that's this one right here. This is one of my favorites, number 68. And here is number 68 right here. Then we have 02 Rose Bronze. Right here is Rose Bronze. Next up is 55 In Love. 55 is right here. Then we've got 340 Evening Beige. We've got Evening Beige right here. Next is 440 Quintessence. Here's 440. Then finally we have the Holiday blush. Then we've got the Holiday blush right here. Again, here are all of the blushes swatched against the new blush. Much more vibrant than any of the other ones that I have. It did make me think of this blush by Chantecaille in Manta Ray. It's the more corally of them, so I'm gonna go ahead and swatch them and see if there is a similarity. So here is the Chantecaille Manta Ray blush against the new Chanel blush, and they look very similar, except the Chantecaille blush is more vibrant than this. This is slightly cooler and just not as bright, and didn't go on with the same intensity. But there's a comparison in case you were wondering, because it really reminded me of it when I initially swatched it. So I hope you were able to see the comparisons between this blush and the rest of my Chanel blushes. It looks nothing like any of them, and the finish is very different than the rest of my blushes. The other ones are more of a traditional powder kind of blush product. This doesn't have anything like that. It's more densely packed. In fact, it does remind me more of this Chantecaille blush. This is Manta Ray, than any of the Chanel blushes that I have. It also reminds me a lot of that shade. I rarely get this excited about a product right away, but I think this is so stunning. There's nothing about this product I don't like. I love the shade. I think it's perfect, especially if you have a skin tone like mine. I think it really complements it well. I love that there's no shimmer in here, because then I can bring it all the way up to the front and not emphasize these pores. Anytime I have blush with shimmer and I bring it up here, it just gets emphasized. So I love when there's a product that doesn't have shimmer. And I love that this looks like I'm not wearing makeup, in the fact that you can't detect any kind of substance on here. You can see the color, you can see the result of it, but you can't tell that I've applied makeup. So it's so natural. I think it is stunning. I also think this is really versatile because it comes across more as a neutral blush on me, because I am quite warm. And I tried to mimic something like they had with a warm eye, but I think it can also work with more cool tones as well. I just think that I'm going to get a lot of use out of this blush. But I'd love to know what you think of this blush if you are going to pick it up. I know some of you already have picked it up. I'd love to know your thoughts. But that is it for today's video, so please take care of each other, stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time.